Let's explore some basic filtering and querying in DataPrime. Filtering and querying always begins the same way. Source logs. This is actually not mandatory. You don't have to write this at all. You can jump straight into the filter. I like adding it because it feels like a complete query and you're being explicit about what your data source is. So I'm going to begin with a really simple one. So we use the pipeline syntax, we source the logs, then we pipe that into a filter command. I'm going to take AWS region as an example. I'm going to use a simple operator, straight up equality. This will say if this field is equal to this value. We can run this and we can see it returns some values. Now this is really simple and it's probably one of the most common queries you're going to run, but there are lots of variations. So for example, I can say if this substring exists in this field. Once again, if I run this, they'll be about the same. There may be some fields that have some extra stuff on the end of it. But what I can do is I could say, okay, maybe I just want everything in EU West, for example, and that will break down everything that has EU West 1 or 2. I can even, if I wanted to, add another tilde here and get rid of the field. And now what this will do is it will search for any field that contains this value in the entire document. When I search for it, anything that has the words EU-West in there will now appear. This is really nice. This is like picking up things like FAS IDs here, for example. So this is a Lambda function that's executed, and you can see it's running an EU West one. And the cloud region was in a different field there. So this is a really nice way of solving that problem of field discovery, trying to work out what many fields are that actually contain, for example, your AWS region or whatever it is that you're looking for. I'll finally just show you one more thing, which is regex matching. So regex region, and then you can do dot matches. In DataPrime, regex really easy, so we can do like this. We'll do dot star, for example, close the brackets. What I'm saying now is anything that matches this regex pattern. So now I'm zooming back in on the AWS region field, but I'm doing it in a very efficient way. And what this means is that my data is really cleanly parsed and explored without the need for anything particularly sophisticated. It's just a simple regex match. Depending on the time frame, you can query a huge volume of data here with the kind of regex match that's available. There's 1,000 records there really quickly. So really nice, really simple use cases there. We've covered regex, we've covered field searching, and we've covered direct equality. I'm just going to cover one extra value here that's going to be really, really important as we get into the later videos, and that is the limit keyword. So what limit will do is it will simply limit the number of rows that are returned by your query. For example, if I put limit 10, I'll just get 10 rows back that match the first 10 rows that match my query. This is very, very important if you want to start doing aggregations. But it's really nice right now because it just means that if we're only interested in like the first 100, we're just looking to get a sample of the data that we've got, we can just run limit 100 and this will give us an idea of what's going on in the data. So this is a really nice way of limiting and making sure you're not querying a huge volume of data if indeed you're operating at scale.